Welcome to Ask Earl Anything. This is the show where your questions make the show, and if I don't have any questions, I don't have a show. This is the first Ask Earl Anything for 2022. This is my fifth season or fifth year of doing Ask Earl Anything. And as I start 2022, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And thank you for joining the show. This show is really a show that comes from your questions. And like the tagline says, if I don't have questions, I don't have a show. Then it's true I don't have a show. So last show in December, I didn't really have any questions. I kind of summarized the year. And then after that show, I got a whole bunch of questions. So thank you all for sharing questions. I have a lot of questions to get to today. Also going to talk a little bit about some of the places I'm hoping to take the channel next year. And so let's get started. We'll start right in with the questions, and then we'll jump into the stuff about the channel at the very end of the show. So my first question comes from my good friend and longtime subscriber, Laurie Jones. And he says to me, I have a question for your next show. One I think we've all been through, which is, what's the best thing to do when for whatever reason you get on a kit and it doesn't sound right, you just can't play. It's like you've forgotten how to play. And I've just had one. I've had it before, and I just walk away and give it another couple days, not feeling through. Have you ever experienced this? What do you do? So Laurie's asking the question, what do you do when you don't feel inspired to play drums? And that's a great question. One of the things that I do when I'm not inspired to play is I don't sit down in the kit. I get up, I hit it a couple minutes or a couple seconds, and I kind of say I'm not in it, and I walk away, just like you said you did. So I think that's a big part of that question. Now, how do you get inspired to play? Well, getting inspired has to do with listening to new music for me and watching other drummers on YouTube, or getting a new piece of equipment, or getting an opportunity to work with somebody different, or maybe I have a gig and I have to make myself get inspired. I find when I have the challenge of having to do something, I get inspired. What doesn't inspire me is when I don't have anything I have to do, when there's no challenge to do something. So a lot of what I've been doing with YouTube the last bunch of years is I've been letting YouTube become my challenge. Like, can I get some playing in each weekend and produce something? And I remember many years back when I didn't have a lot of gigs, didn't want to be in bands. I was traveling on the road a lot, so I couldn't be in bands. And basically what happened was I wasn't feeling inspired to play at all. And on the weekends, I wouldn't play very much. I wasn't doing a lot of recording, but I had the studio. And I found that it kind of be a very depressing time in some respects. And I thought I was going to quit. I thought I was just about done. Maybe I'm finished playing music. Maybe that's where I'm at. And I was like 54, 55. And anyhow, I got this church gig, and this church gig was new young musicians to play with, and I really had a good time with them. And that was what kicked me in the butt and pushed me to the next level. So sometimes you need a gig to kind of push you to the next level. When it happened again in 2017, and I lost my job, and I didn't have anything to do all day long for a couple months there, I started pushing myself to do the YouTube channel and YouTube covers. And I think that's really when my motivation kind of kicked in. The last couple years since my son passed away, I've been doing it basically to make sure I'm doing something, so I don't have time to just sit and get depressed. So it's an interesting question, Laurie. I do think self-motivation is really an important part of it. And sometimes guys say to me, you're doing too much. But in actuality, if I wasn't doing so much, I think I would be in a different place in my life and how I feel about life right now. I will say 2022, I'm hoping is going to be better than 2021, and I'm hoping the world's going to get better. But even if it doesn't, I know for me, I have to keep pressing forward, so I'm going to keep trying to press forward. Now, I do think things will slow up here a little bit, and it is slowing up. You just don't really see it yet, but it's slowed up a lot. I'm not pushing myself. This vacation I was on, I did like one cover a day, most of the days, just to do something, you know. So it's kind of been an interesting vacation this holiday season. But I'm trying to do other things to motivate my life other than just drumming. So there's more on that to come because I have some interesting questions that people have been asking me, Lori. So we'll see if the questions tie together. All right, my next question is from Nico York Drums. Nico York Drums sounds like New York drums, but it's Nico York Drums. He says, "Why do your drums sound so good?" Well, Nico, to be honest, I don't know why the drums sound so good other than I've been playing drums a long time and I have a way I tune drums. And I tune drums for the song. I try to get the sounds based on the type of music I'm playing. One of the reasons why I have this concert tom kit and I do so many 70s and early 80s songs, because that was kind of the sound of those songs. And I really like the sound of concert toms. But it's not for everything, and there's days that you need to go to the double-headed kit. And I think if I only had a concert tom kit, I wouldn't be very happy at all, because I play a lot of music where it requires the double-headed kit. So I have a style of tuning drums, a way I tune drums that works for me. And I try to get the drum in tune with itself, and I try to tune the drums in a place where it sounds right in the music. And that's really the only thing I could say about it. So, with that said, why do they sound so good? The other thing is the way I recorded the drums. Mic placement, some of the plugins I use, my ears in mixing, those are all things that are part of why the drums sound the way they do. So, it's tuning, it's using the right drum for the right type of music, it's knowing the sound you're going for, it's really listening to music. And when the bottom line to everything is you have to listen to a lot of different types of music. And I try to put the right sounds for the right kind of music. So if it's an 80s Phil Collins thing, I'm going to have that gated sound. If it's a 70s muffled tom thing, I'm going to go for that, T-Towel thing, that Ringo thing. If it's a more contemporary song, I'm going to have double-headed toms tuned big, try to get more of a Bonham kind of thing. And I find what works for which songs I'm doing. So that's pretty much it. And I like varying the sound too. That's the other thing. I don't like having one sound. That's why I have multiple different drums. My Gretsch kit's got 6 different toms. And if you put the toms in different combinations, it sounds different. This kit now has 8 toms plus. So right now I've got 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But sometimes I have 10, 12, 14, 16. Or I've had 10, 13, 15, 16. Or I've had 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 with the 15 as the floor tom. So it varies. That's all I can say. I like to change things up. I also like to pick cymbals that work with different songs too. So it's how I hear things, I guess. And that's really the long answer to pretty much what you said. And the other thing is my drums are that great old Gretsch sound. Even this bass drum's a Gretsch bass drum. So I think there's a lot to do with the types of drums I have, even though these vintage concert toms are pretty ugly. If you really look at them, they're kind of ugly, but they have a cool sound. They're fiberglass, so there's a different sound. The Gretsch are the maple gumwood drums, and Gretsch drums have a certain sound. Mine are 1979 Gretsch drums. They have a certain sound. It's a sound a lot of guys want. So I think varying the drums and all that kind of stuff is all part of what makes my sound. All right, next question, and this came off the same song, Incense Peppermint. Mickey F. asks a question. He says, "Nice job. I haven't heard this in years. I love the extras at the end of your video. Your kit sounds so sweet. What is your tuning process that works best for you?" Now, tuning and sound are two things that are similar. Again, I try to pick the drums to go with the music. So for Incense Peppermint, I think I was using the Gretsch kit with two-headed toms, but they might have been tuned up a little bit. It really depends on what I'm going for too, and then it's how I mix them. It's how I mix the drums. So I don't have a tuning concept that's consistent. I can't say I always have the bottom head tighter than the top head, or I always have them even pitched. I don't have it. It's not that kind of thing. I try to get the sound of the song. So I will do what it takes to get the sound to sound right. And I guess that's the only thing I can say about my tuning method. When it comes to concert toms, it may be detuning a lug to get the dip. It may be tuning them up higher to get a certain vibe off the drums, different than the big fat muffled sound. It could be the reverb I use in the DAW that gets the big sound. So it all really depends on the music. Music drives the sound of my drums. I think I've said that now a couple different ways. So that's all I wanted to say about that, Mickey. Thanks for the question. My next question comes from my friend Sean Woodley. He's my student. And he said to me, what helps you pick songs for covers? What helps me pick songs for covers? Great question, Sean. It's stuff I hear. It's music I hear. It's something that inspires me. And I might hear it on the radio. It might be on a Spotify playlist. It could be something I heard on YouTube. Sometimes I just go looking for music, and it has to be something I want to do. Occasionally I get asked requests to play a song, and occasionally I do play the requests, and sometimes I don't play the requests. So really that's a hit or miss thing. I have some friends that ask me to do lots of different songs, and I do them for them occasionally. That takes months for me to do sometimes, or days, depending on how I feel. If it's something I really want to do, I do it faster. If it's something I don't want to do, it'll take a while before I get to it, or I may never get to it. So choosing songs really is what's in my wheelhouse that I hear. Something that says, yeah, that inspires me. Or I have the kit set up a certain way and I want to play that kit. Or I get a new snare drum. Got a new snare drum for Christmas. It's a Ludwig Black Beauty. I'll have more on that as time goes on. 6.5 by 14. So I've been picking songs that kind of fit that snare drum. I did a Rolling Stones song recently. Matter of fact, I have a question from somebody who asked me to do that Rolling Stones song. So sometimes it's request, sometimes it's not. But there's no rhyme or reason to that either, Sean. And those of you that know me know I like a lot of different kinds of music. So it could be just about anything. But thanks for asking that question, Sean. I really do appreciate it. Next question comes from my friend Brian. And Brian drums, and he says, great show, Earl. I know you have big beats and giant beats and 2002 red labels. Can you compare them? Thanks, bud. Can I compare them? Well, I will say that the 2002s, the 2002 big beats, and the giant beats are in the same family as the PST7s and the 505s. They are B8 cymbals. And what I will say about Paiste is I like their consistency. I like the fact that if you hear a 22-inch 2002 ride on YouTube, at Memphis Drum Shop, it's going to sound pretty close to it when you bring it home. So consistency is what I like about Paiste cymbals, and I think that those lines of cymbals all go together. Now, can you mix and match lines of cymbals? Yes, you can. A lot of Paiste endorsers use, 602's Monitor Essentials with Dark Energy, Paiste Signatures, 2002s. You can even put 2002s and Zildjians together if you want to. It all depends on what you want to do. I think I could put almost any of my cymbals together, Sabian, Zildjian, or Paistes, together and make a set of cymbals where I have a couple Sabians and a couple Paistes and a couple Zildjians and make a set. Because my ear hears a certain sound, and that's what I choose for cymbal sounds. But the difference of the giant beats to the 2002s is there's really no difference. It's just the same alloy. Giant beats are thinner. 2002s are more rock, thicker. They got a little more cut and bite. The giant beats have a little bit more shimmer and darkness. The big beats are completely a dark cymbal. I have my friend Scott Hazen down here, who I've done a lot of trades with, and I actually interviewed him for a new show I've just created this week, actually, and it'll be released soon. May even get released before this. Who knows? And he was down here, and he's mostly a Sabian Zildjian kind of guy, and he was playing the 2002 ride, and he liked it. But then I put up the 2002 Big Beat ride, and he's like, "This is darker. I like this even better." So when I first got the Big Beat, I think I went for it because it had a little bit darker sound, kind of like the Giant Beats. But it's nice to have the bright 2002 ride cymbal too. So the bright cutting versus the darker more blends in with the music. Again, what am I really talking about? I'm talking about my ears. It's how I hear things. You know, it's the choice of hitting the PSTX cymbal, which is not really a China, but it's in the China family. It's an effect cymbal. And just knowing when to hit it, it's a color choice. So my playing is, when I put cymbals up, I'm putting cymbals up that'll be color choices for the song. Hope that makes sense. So I don't see a big difference between, that's why I mix them all the time, Giant Beats 2002s and the Big Beat 2002. I think they're all in the same family and they work. All right, let's see. My next question comes from a Dennis Hertz. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He said to me, will you ever do an ELO cover? And I wrote back to him, I said, yeah, I'll do an ELO cover. I just need to know what song you'd like to hear me play. So I'm not a huge fan of ELO, but I'm not a fan of ELO. And I'm just trying to figure out the right one that I'd like to play that would fit me. Bev Bevan was a Snarelin endorser, and he played really big, nice Snarelin kit with some rototoms and stuff. So I'd like to do something that featured more drums and maybe the rototoms or something like that. So if somebody wants an ELO song, just send me a name of an ELO song you'd like to hear, and I'll see if I can do that one. All right, the next one comes from Bill Nicholas, and Bill Nicholas says, love the videos, but I've wondered how your covers don't get taken down by the channel police. You mean the YouTube police? Well, I have a story about that this week. Last year, I had a whole bunch of videos taken down right around Christmas. One was a Boss Skaggs song. One was a Chicago song off of Hot Streets called No Tell Lover. A year before that, I had Scenes from Italian Restaurant taken down by Billy Joel. Anyhow, I had about 20 songs in a playlist I called YouTube Blocked. And you guys couldn't see it. It was a private playlist. But I would go into it and watch the videos sometimes. So I've been watching these videos. Every once in a while I'll go in, and they were still blocked. Well, the other day, I did a Chicago song called Wishing You Were Here off of Chicago 7, one I hadn't done. And as soon as I did it and posted it up privately into my channel on YouTube, basically what happened was it was blocked. It said blocked. I said, wow, blocked. So I brought it into that folder, and when I opened that folder on the computer, I noticed that I had every video that was blocked I couldn't see in that folder on my computer. But I had about 5 or 6 songs that I had done that are now not blocked, but copyright, whatever they call it, which is what you get for every video you put up that's somebody else's song. So I thought to myself, wow, these aren't blocked anymore. I'm going to start releasing them. So this week I released Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. I released the Boss Skaggs song, Look What You've Done For Me. I released No Tell Lover. I released Into the Mystic by Van Morrison. I have another Van Morrison song. I don't know if I have any other ones, but that's like 5 songs that got released to be used. So I was kind of excited. So how do I get them so they don't get blocked? I don't know. I never know if I'm going to get blocked or not. And I don't do the pre-checking before I do covers. I just do them. So I'll be here on a Saturday. I'll pick songs I want to do. I'll play them. I'll make a video of them. I'll cut the video. And it's when I upload it, I find out that it got blocked or didn't get blocked. And if it gets blocked, it's like the cost of doing business. Got blocked, put it in that folder. I still have some songs in that folder that are not available to anybody. So, Blood, Sweat, and Tears song is one of them. I think it's called Spinning Wheel. I did You Made Me Very Happy, so very happy. But I did Spinning Wheel still can't be played. Now Wishing You Were Here can't be played. So they release them periodically, and when they release them, I'm going to try to put them on my channel as soon as I see that they're released. I did that with 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. That only took 4 years for that to happen. So I think the YouTube police thing is something I don't worry about, is what I'll say to you. I do get blocked periodically. I will say this also. Let me say this. I've been blocked more on Instagram, to the point where I don't care to post on Instagram anymore. So if you see me posting on Instagram, if you're an Instagram follower, it's probably only going to be because I felt like posting and trying it. And I don't get very many views on Instagram anyhow, because they don't like me, or I don't know. I don't think they don't like me. I think really what it is I just don't have enough followers. I'm not anybody, and I won't pay. So I won't get paid to get played, period. You know, the 5,000 subscribers I have on my channel, I worked hard at releasing videos for the last 5 years pretty consistently. Doing shows like Ask Earl Anything or Drum Talk, where I do commentary on how to play in a worship band situation, or maybe about perfect ride cymbals or crash cymbals or hi-hats or Paiste cymbals. You know, these are things that get me a lot of views. These are my most popular videos. I think my 5,000 subscribers just came from hard work. I'm not paying anybody to push me out there. And I will not pay anybody on Instagram to push me out there. I don't care. I don't care if I'm an influencer or not. That whole world doesn't do anything for me. To be honest, what does it for me here on YouTube is you guys. You guys and ladies that like my videos and say things and comment and get something out of it. I have people that say, hey, I learned how to play this song because I watched you play it. That's inspiring to me. Or somebody says, hey man, can you work on a track for me because I saw you on YouTube and I know you can play. That's cool. Or somebody saying, hey, can you give me some lessons? How'd that happen? Because I saw you on YouTube. Okay. These are all valid reasons for me to be here on YouTube, other than trying to be an influencer or get lots of likes. I don't play the game very well. Matter of fact, I'm pretty bad at the game right now. If I like your videos, I say something. If I don't like your videos, I don't say anything. I don't see everybody's videos anymore. I'm really not watching as much as I used to. I maybe take one day a week where I kind of go through people's videos a little bit. Certain people inspire me to play. Certain people are really my friends. I consider them friends, and I do watch your videos. Others I consider, YouTube acquaintances or subs, that nice people, and if I can see your video, I'll try to encourage you if I can. But I don't play the game of like, I watch your video, you watch my video, or I fully support your video. I don't do that game. That's not my game. And I don't go chasing people down. So that's the problem with Instagram. But Instagram got to the place where I posted like 1,300 video clips and pictures. And I've gotten to the point now with Instagram, I don't care if I post at all on Instagram anymore. So I don't most days. I find I have friends that read my stories that are my real friends. And then when I post something, a couple of my real friends will say something on that occasionally. But for the most part, I don't really care about Instagram anymore. So Instagram is losing me, just like Facebook is losing me. I'm not gone from it. I don't spend a lot of time there anymore. All right. This comes from my friend Adam, AR drummer. And he said to me, you always have a wealth of info. Here's my question to you. What are your hobbies? Well, let me say this, Adam. I don't really have any hobbies. I don't even consider drumming a hobby. My life has been work and kids and music. And I don't really have I don't watch sports, or I guess if I had a hobby, it would be drumming. I guess you guys would think that's a hobby, or having a studio would be a hobby. But really, to me, it's been like a lifelong passion, so I don't consider it a hobby. Even though I surely don't make as much money at this as I used to when I played a lot of gigs. But like, I don't golf. I don't fish really. I like doing things with my wife and my family. Hanging with people is fun to me. That's been the problem with COVID, is like, people don't want to hang out. We have a New Year's Day gathering at my house. We invited 100 people. We probably had 50 people here yesterday. They come in and out. It's not all day. We're not all in the same room. Matter of fact, we spent most of the time outside with a lot of people yesterday because of COVID. But the year before, because of COVID, we did nothing. I like being with people. You know, that's what I like. I like being with people that I love. I like being with people that I relate to. I like being with people we can converse and talk about the things of the world, the things of life, the things that are important. Music is one of those things we talk about, but hobbies, I don't know. I don't have any hobbies really. You know, I'm not into cars, not into dirt bikes, not into golf. I don't have model trains. Yeah. Music and family are my life. That's my life. I don't consider those hobbies. I consider that part of life. So I guess I'm kind of a big disappointment in the hobby thing. Unless you want to say, well, you're a hobby drummer, you know, because you play drums on YouTube, you don't make a lot of money, you're not a pro. Okay, you can say that if you like. That makes you happy. I'll let you get away with that. That's fine. You can say this is my hobby. But I consider this my passion. So, all right, my next question comes from Dennis Hertz. I think he asked another question, didn't he, Dennis? He did. He asked the ELO question. He said, what's your main drumstick? All right. My main drumstick is a Vader Los Angeles 5A. Now, it's not my only drumstick. I like any 5A pretty much. Vader's my choice usually. Let's see if I have one of the other ones here that I've been using lately. I do. I found these sticks at Sweetwater cheap, discounted. They're called Goodwood. They're Vader seconds. So I buy Goodwoods or I buy Vader Los Angeles 5As or Goodwood 5As. They're the same stick. They actually look the same. They actually feel the same. They're about the same weight. There's some kind of blemish on them. I'm into buying stuff that's got blemishes, apparently. I just found out I bought a Black Beauty, and my wife gave it to me for Christmas, but she didn't give it to me in the box under the tree. She gave me in the box under the tree an eBay listing and said, hey, I didn't know which one to buy, so pick the one you want. And basically, I could have went there and got the most expensive 6.5 by 14 Black Beauty I could have found. I didn't do that. I bought the B-Stock Black Beauty. Now, I always thought B-Stock meant it was extra inventory that the music store had and they had to get rid of. But I've come to find out something since buying this drum, that B-Stock has an actual connotation to it, and that means they're blemished somewhere. Now, this Black Beauty, I can't find the blemish on it. And the blemish could be something as simple as the badge is in the wrong place. No, I don't believe my badge is in the wrong place on my Black Beauty. It looks like it's in the right place. They could put a different strainer on it because they have put like one of the older ones instead of the newest model. There could be a scratch on it, even though I haven't been able to find a scratch on the drum. There could be a blemish inside the drum. Don't know what it is. The one thing I do know about a B-Stock Ludwig drum is that a B-Stock Ludwig drum doesn't have a serial number on it. And they put a badge on it that's the blue olive badge from the 70s. So my Black Beauty's got a blue olive badge. It doesn't have a serial number on it. It sounds like a Black Beauty. It looks like a Black Beauty. Most people would not know any different that it wasn't a Black Beauty regular stock, but it's a B-Stock. And because of that, I got the drum for about almost $200 cheaper. As far as I was concerned, I'll keep the $200 rather than spend the money on the perfect drum. Because for me, that doesn't matter as much. So that's kind of the way I feel about drumsticks. I don't care to pay top dollar. The reason why I use Vader 5As is very simple. I can buy these in packs of 4 for under 30 bucks. So 4 sticks for under 30 bucks is about $6 and change a pair versus buying 1 pair at a time or buying 10 pairs at a time from a music store. So you buy 10 pairs, but they're all $9.99, so you spend 100 bucks on 10 pairs of sticks. I'm not into that. I don't care to have designer sticks or to pay $10 a pair or 12 bucks a pair or 13 bucks a pair for sticks. It's kind of like some of these stick companies are out there now. Like there's one stick called Collision Drumsticks, and then there's another one called something else, some other B stick. It's not Vic Firth, but I could get an endorsement with them. All I have to do is say, I'll endorse your product, and they'll sell me sticks. But their sticks to their endorsers are 12 bucks a pair. That's not an endorsement. That's me paying full price for a pair of sticks from a company I don't even like or know. So for me, I'd rather go out and buy Vaders for under 7 bucks a pair. And when I get Goodwoods, I get them for somewhere around 4 bucks a pair. Does it make a difference? Not really. I mean, this Vader has got a flat tip on the acorn because it chipped. It was right on the. You can see where you can see the grain. It caught the grain and it chipped. I've been playing this stick just about as long, or maybe a couple weeks less, but hasn't chipped on the tip. None of the Goodwoods have chipped on the tip, but I've been having a problem with that on the Vaders lately. So I don't know. The better stick is it better always? Not always. Just a thought. All right, let's see. Next question. This comes from Linda Lou. Now, Linda Lou asked, she asked me to play the Stone song, You Got Me Rockin', which I just did. I played it. It was the first cover I did with my Black Beauty 6.5 by 14. Tried to do it in Charlie Watts' way too, Linda, just so you know. Haven't heard from you. I hope you saw it. Hope you see this question. Your question is, what's your number one bit of advice for a new drummer? Well, I would say the number one bit of advice for a new drummer is to learn the basics as soon as you possibly can. So once you're a new drummer and you really decide you want to go the next place with your drumming, not just playing beats, being able to play boom, bop, that beat, but you really want to play, is get a teacher and learn the fundamentals and learn what it takes to play drums. That means learn how to play an open roll, learn how to play a paradiddle, learn how to play singles, learn how to get your four-way coordination together to be able to play, you know, be able to play that, okay? You know, 5-stroke roll. Learn the rudiments. Take some time to learn the basics. That way you have somewhere to go. If you're serious about being a drummer, you need to learn the basics. Get a teacher, learn the basics as soon as you possibly can. I have a new show coming out. It's called Conversations. Life, Love, Wisdom, and Drums. And my first guest on my show this is an interview type show. My first guest on my show is going to be Scott Hazen, my teacher. And you get to hear about me as a student from him, his perspective when he met me at 16. So we've been friends for a long time. Scott and I, he's been at my wedding, and he's thrown me gigs, and he's worked for me in business. I got him a job a couple times. We don't talk about any of that stuff, but that's just the backstory. But Scotty's a great guy, and he would tell you to learn the basics. Be serious about the basics. So I'm telling you the same thing. That's what it takes to be a drummer. Learn the basics. Get with a teacher, learn the basics. Most important thing is to groove, have solid time, so work with a metronome, and learn how to play basic grooves. The grooves are more important than the fills. That I will say that too. But the fills will come if you practice. Okay. My last question comes from Claus Isaacson. Claus is a longtime friend. And Claus asked the question, I'm curious about your bass drum beater. This was on the song Nothing from Nothing. And on this kit, I have a bass drum beater that looks like a big square wood square. So here's what I want to tell you, Claus. One of the things I bought bunch of years ago was a wood square beater from ProMark. I was probably playing drums about, it must have been in college, I bought this beater. One of the easiest things to do to change your bass drum sound is to change the beater. I have a lot of different beaters. I've had a lot of different pedals, but one of the things I always do is I change the beater on pedals pretty quick. So the last bunch of years I've been picking up beaters, and about, I don't know, within the last 10 years, I was in a music store that was going out of business, and they had a square beater, but it was on kind of one of those funky, it was basically designed for one of the early double pedals. So it kind of was like, it wasn't a straight beater, but I had a beater shaft at home. So this pedal, this beater right here cost me $3 or something. And I took it home, I took it off the shaft that was kind of funky, and I put it on a straight shaft, and I started using it. And what I find with the wood, or what I find with the square beaters, is you get a more solid kick drum sound. Kind of squares it. It has to hit the head square. Okay? Now, before that, a couple weeks before I changed it, this beater had been sitting in a box, not doing anything. But I had one of those Vic Firth beaters. Matter of fact, it was called the Vic Firth Vic Kick beater. You could turn it sideways, and it was kind of a rounded circle, and you were getting it from the side, which was kind of like a thin felt. And if you turned it the other way, it was flat. I had it using it the flat way. Well, one day I was doing a cover, and I broke the head off the beater. So it just popped off, and I was like, holy crap. I could have put the shaft right through my bass drum head. Thank God I did not do that. So I needed to switch the beater. I put the square one on here. Now on my other kit, I've got the Danmar square one, which is the Zorro beater. And the Zorro beater is the felt square one. Now, why did I start using a square beater? That's the question. I think it was the first John Robinson article. I think he talked about using a square beater on an Axis pedal. So I bought my first square beater, which was a ProMark, back in the 80s somewhere. And I used it for a few years. I didn't use it for long. And then about 2008, 9, I wanted to buy a square beater again. And I didn't want to spend $25 for one. So I bought this wooden one at that store for $3 and made it. And then I said, you know what? I really don't want the wood one. I want the felt. So I actually bought the Danmar felt one. Now they're $28 for a felt beater. So bass drum beaters cost a lot of money, but it's still a cheap fix to get a different sound. Anyhow, all that said is try different beaters, get different sounds. Another beater I use a lot is the Rogers beater. It's on the new Dyna. It's not called a Dynasonic, is it? Dynasonic is the snare drum. It used to be called Swivel-Matic. Now they call it Dynomatic is what they call it. So it used to be called the Swivel-Matic pedal, the old version of it. Now it's called the Dynamatic. And the Dynamatic had the Rogers beater with the spring. And I bought one of those. I used it in church on my Camco pedal. It's got a flat side. I really like that too. Flat plastic kind of beats on it. DW has a flat plastic beater that's kind of square. But I like the square beater head. Has a certain sound. This has got a lot of thump in it. Now this bass drum has got a pillow in it. My other bass drum doesn't have a pillow in it. It actually has one of those Evans pillows, but it's leaning against the front head. It's not touching the back head at all. So the back head's giving all resonance except for the muffle ring, the submuffle, Remo submuffle, which is kind of their version of an EMAD head. So, or EMAD system, I should say. So, this bass drum head's got a Power Sonic bass drum head, which has got actually a little paddle on the bottom. But my Gretsch kit recently I went from the Evans 56 head that was on there for about 3 years to now a coated Ambassador on the back head with the Remo submuffle. Anyhow, the flat beater just emphasizes the punch. So I really like the flat beater. Anyhow, I hope that answers the question. So that's all the questions for Ask Earl Anything. I got through all the questions. Now, a couple of channel updates. I'm hoping to do Ask Earl Anything, continuing to do it once a month. That's my goal. So your questions make the show. If you don't ask questions, I don't have a show. I'm hoping to do some Hanging with the Hammers live streams someday. But I'm not going to be doing them consistently every week. I just don't have time for it right now. I'm adding a new show called Conversations. And Conversations is going to grow. I want to make that into something. So Scott Hazen's my first guest. I think I'm going to have some other YouTube drummers on there. But I may have some other types of artists on there too. So we'll see where it goes. And I'm planning on doing some more gear review stuff, stories behind the gear, drum talk type things. And you'll still get covers. How often you'll get covers, I don't know. Will it be once a day? I don't know if it'll be that. Right now I've got a backlog, so you're seeing a lot of covers. But it may start spacing out to a couple times a week. Who knows? I have no schedule. I don't post premieres. I don't know what to tell you. I am doing I'm doing a collaboration with a friend. You'll see that video on the Drum Addict channel someday. I don't know. You're going to see me in places. You're going to see me in different places this year, but I'm not really sure what else to say about it. For the time being, I'm just going to keep doing what I do, having fun with what I do. What I would say to you is have fun, do what you love, and do it because you love it. If you're not doing it because you love it, then you're not doing it for the right reason. So this show is something I love. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for being my subscribers and followers. Please ask a question, because if I don't have a question, I don't have a show. And I will see you next time on Ask Earl Anything. Thanks. Take care.